Well, after the excitement of the Cup last weekend, it's back to the leagues this weekend, and Friday night football brings us to Terrelba Park for this Football Queensland Premier League Round 17 clash. Points are valuable for both these sides to remain in contention for a promotion spot, as well as the finals race on a very tight FQPL table. It's Mitchelton up against Eastern Suburbs on Friday night football. Good evening, it's Rafe Griffin with you in commentary this evening. And the two teams have just come out onto the park after escaping the dressing rooms. The two captains about to exchange the coin toss with the match officials for this evening. Referee tonight is Brad Burton, brought to you by Total Tools. Two teams retreating to their pre-match huddles. Mitchelton break from theirs, and the Mitchelton Football Club, we couldn't do this without sponsors, and they wish to thank Northwest Physiotherapy and Gaythorne RSL for their continued support, and Eastern Suburbs proudly sponsored by Laurenti's Fresh Food Market. So the change for Mitchelton coming into tonight's game is that Mustafa Jafari replaces Jordan Dozzy in the starting 11. Dozzy returns to the bench, while for Eastern Suburbs, Scott Fulton promoted to the starting 11 with Kei Takamoto returning to the bench. So we're about to get underway. Final check from the referee, Brad Burton. All in readiness now. Round 17 of the FQPL gets underway on Friday night at Terrelba Park. It's the 7th place Mitchelton up against the 5th placed Eastern Suburbs. It's been a bit of a layoff for Mitchelton with the catch-up and Cup weekend last weekend. They had the bye going into that a couple of weeks ago, so it's been 3 weeks since they've been out to get on the pitch. It's Fulton for Eastern Suburbs, who are in their change white and black strip this evening. Farina trying to link up there with Scholl, his teammate. Mitchelton come away in possession. Scholl's going to put the pressure on the Mitchie keeper, Sonta. It's a hectic start from Eastern Suburbs and a free kick early on. Fulton trying to prove perhaps the referee should have played some advantage. The whistle had been blown earlier. So it'll be a free kick in a dangerous position here for Eastern Suburbs very early in this match tonight. Mitchelton all being organised by Ben Sonta. Looks like there'll be 4, 5th man now coming into it in Kai Barnes. Just reorganising themselves. So we wait this free kick to be taken. Abiango sizing it up. Waiting Brad Burton's whistle to get this ball back into play. Yango leaves it. And the free kick from Bellorizzo straight to the Mitchie keeper in Ben Sonta. He's given it straight back to Geordie Farina. This is Farina again. Getting out wide is Coulson for Eastern Suburbs. He's got Satake to help out. Sends it out on to the right for the Tigers. Lofted ball into the box. Getting a nod to it was the Eastern Suburbs player in Shoal, and Shoal at close range draws Sonta into the action. So a couple of scares here for Mitchelton early on in this encounter. Been all Eastern Suburbs early doors. Lucas at the back for Mitchelton. Free man out on the right is Drager if they want to come this way, Mitchelton. Instead it's sent forward by Loy, cut out by the Eastern Suburbs player. Fulton, got three men who come to him to try and defend him. Loy up against Farina. Was it kept in? No, says the assistant. Quick throw in taken by Coulson. Aimed at the feet of Shoal. And Sonta just prepared to bring a bit of composure to his defence. No pressure here from Eastern Suburbs. Sonta's clearance comes long on the right-hand side. Tempted not on from Rizai. Throwing decision goes the Mustangs' way. Throw in aimed towards that Mitchelton player and a corner. No, it's not. It's a goal kick. Just had a bit of a scare because Mustafa Jafari, we were told, was in jersey 16. He's actually in 7 for Mitchelton. The feet of Fulton. Rizai leaves it for Yanakopoulos. Hassled there was Barnes. Comes back for Lucas, the former Western Pride and Moreton Bay United man. They've conceded a free kick, however, Mitchelton near the halfway line. Coulson, more accustomed to playing more forward up the park, playing left back this evening. It's a lethal thunt free for Eastern Suburbs. We'll come back to that in a moment. It's end to end at the moment. Jafari looking to zero in on there for the Mustangs. Drifts high for Coulson. Gives away possession to Foster, the Mitchelton skipper. Trying to make inroads. A distance shot straight to Sam Long in his second game for Eastern Suburbs. Made his debut for the Tigers before the Cup game weekend in that 4-1 victory over the Sunshine Coast Wanderers 2 weeks ago. Touch back. It's Yango and drifts along the ground. No real threat there for Sonta. Yes, his opposite tonight is Sam Long. I said the second game comes over from Moreton Bay, where he struggled to find a way into the starting 11 at the Jets. Now in first team action at the Tigers. Jafari, yeah, you'll see his tricky skills this evening. Third game for Mitchelton. Previous stints at the Southwest Queensland Thunder and Olympic in the NPL. Can be an excitement machine. Mustafa Jafari, the number 7 for Mitchelton when he switched on. And that will add valuable attack for Mitchelton for the remaining 10 rounds of this inaugural FQPL season. Foster has Mitchelton looked to try and bring it out of their defensive territory. As I said earlier on, it's the 7th place Mitchelton up against the 5th placed Eastern Suburbs. Mitchelton with 6 wins, 2 draws and 5 losses from their 2018 season thus far. 30 goals, 425 against. The defence not too bad. 5th best in terms of defence, in terms of goals conceded, but the attack is where they've really been hurt. As Long is drawn off his line. And Jafari puts their hands to the head, thinking what might have been, and he made adequate contact. The 30 goals, 4 for Mitchelton, just puts them in equal 9th in terms of goals scored this season. Nodded back for Sonta, who collects at the edge of his area. For Eastern Suburbs, 8 wins, draw and 5 losses is their record as they sit in 5th place in a congested FQPL table, at least after the runaway leaders, Peninsula Power. Rochdale, Logan, Sunshine Coast Wanderers, all in that promotion race along with Mitchelton. Plenty of sides still capable. As Farina spots the keeper off his line, who collects it in just right on the line. Ever awake is Geordie Farina to any opportunity. Rezai in for Jafari. 2 East defenders immediately come to him. Arriving on the scene was Yango. Mitchelton have the ball back again once more. Goals scored, certainly no issue for Eastern Suburbs this year, scoring 55 of them. They're second only to Peninsula Power in terms of goals scored. Their defence, it's probably what's been their weak link this year. 32 goals conceded, equals 6th in terms of defence. It's the first time that these two sides have played in the FQPL, despite us being in the second half of the season. Their earlier game this year was rained out, and that postponed game scheduled now for the 21st of July. Of course, they've played many times during their stint in the Flight Centre Brisbane Premier League and prior to the introduction of the FQPL. Mitchelton promoted to that league in 2015. The end of the 2014 season into 2015. Here's Yango, former Raw youth player. Fulton claims of handball. They fall on deaf ears, and Mitchelton race to bring it out of their defensive territory. Turnover for Coulson. Finds Fulton. Delivers a low cross, aimed towards his teammate in Shoal. And the first goal's been scored here by Eastern Suburbs. Looks to be Scott Fulton, who's delivered the first blow just after the 10-minute mark. And the Tigers have a 1-0 lead over the Mustangs. Defensive lapse from Mitchelton. And East have made them pay full toll. So East strike the first blow as Jafari gets his back underway. I said maybe Mitchelton just a little bit rusty, not having played for 3 weeks in a competitive game. Plenty of pace for Beale up front for Mitchelton, and perhaps a chance here for Mitchelton for a quick reply from the dead ball situation from the corner. Their last start, Mitchelton, they went down by 3-0 to the Sunshine Coast Wanderers before having the bye in the previous round. Just 1 win in their last 3 for the Mustangs. Signal given by Rezai. Now it's a crowded box, and the header straight to Long. Immediate clearance for Shoal, trying to outpace Rezai. Shoal goes himself. Satake on the far side for Eastern Suburbs. Another one of the recent recruits playing his 3rd game for Eastern Suburbs, the former Brisbane City man, and has experience in the A-League at the Gold Coast United youth system as well as the Newcastle Jets. Korsatake, as always, we'd love to know your thoughts on this game, who you predict is going to win, where you're watching in from. We always love to see your comments and know where you're watching in from. Can Mitchelton fight back from this early setback? Let us know on the Facebook post. Your comments on this round 17 FQPL game. Beale hassled by the Eastern Suburbs defender in Barnett. Fulton threads one through for Farina. Farina into the side netting though. So again, that Tigers attack threatened the Mustangs defence. This is Coulson. Sends one long. Too much space is the cry from one of the Mitchelton defenders. Plays it inside for Fulton. Quick exchange between Fulton and Belloretto. Looks to be Yango on that far side, cleared away by the defence. As Eastern Suburbs take possession once more. One man not here tonight is Eastern Suburbs coach Danny Wright. Perhaps he's watching in from Russia. A group of the Eastern Suburbs old boys have gone over to Russia to enjoy the World Cup and follow the Socceroos around. Pete Davidson fills in as the man in charge on the bench for Eastern Suburbs tonight. Pete Gabassi suggesting that it could be the Shoal and Farina show this evening. They are the second and third leading goal scorers in the FQPL. The boys from the pecking order chipping in once more. Love to have their input, crunching the numbers for us going into this game. Should be a close game if the rankings are any indication. He's currently ranked 95 in the country, as we'll just take a break here for Jafari to put it onto the crossbar. Cross coming in from Beale. And that's the best attack of Mitchelton so far in this encounter. Yes, the pecking order boys who try to rank the higher competitions around the country, also trying to add a few more leagues I saw this week, boys, but East 95th nationally, Mitchelton 129th, and they're suggesting a close game. 42.5% chance of East winning, 35.1 for Mitchelton, and 22.4 for the draw. Jeremy Griffin up the Mustangs. Player here at Mitchelton. This is Farina. Inside for Yango. Eastern Suburbs down that right-hand side. Lurking at the far post is Fulton. And tip off the bar. Off the line, I should say, by Sonta from Shoal's shot. So East again. As they take this variation of the corner for Coulson. Probably loop one high into the box. Instead it comes at mid-range. And Fulton waiting at the near post is wide. And on our Insta poll tonight, 57% of you thinking that Eastern Suburbs will take the chocolates in this game. 43% going the Mustangs. Trev McKenzie watching on this evening. Good evening, Trev. And he suggests East to win. Well, he's on the right track at the moment after their early goal. former teammate Justin McMullen cheekily suggesting that Scotty Fulton will be back to the under-20s next week. Well, come on, Dusty. Surely a star he's on here potentially as he receives the ball. A good 1-2. And Sonta had to get it full stretch to reel it in front of Scholl. So it's all Eastern Suburbs apart from a couple of rare Mitchelton attacks. And again, dominant in the air was the tall Luke Leggett. Hacked away by Coulson. Mitchelton player in Barnes. Not having the height advantage, but still managed to win the ball anyway. Mustangs with possession once more. So both these clubs played the Sunshine Coast Wanderers in their last encounter. I mentioned before that it was the Wanderers that beat Mitchelton in their last match by 3-0. Well, Eastern Suburbs were more successful against the Wanderers, winning 4-1 as they pick up a free kick with Beale fouled near the edge of the area. The Wanderers, Mitchelton, Eastern Suburbs all in that scrap for a promotion spot as well as a finals berth. Player with his back to goal, trying to deceive the Eastern Suburbs defence and potentially the keeper. Loy straight into the feet of the Eastern Suburbs defender, however. Lucas takes a look up and elects not to come to Sonta. Instead, will make the play himself. Loy. Again, turned over possession in the midfield. Drager it was that time. Fulton. He's found a fortuitous ball here for Scholl. Scholl dancing his way into the box. And from a narrow angle, Ueel Scholl makes it goal number 21 for the season. And 20 minutes in, East have doubled their advantage. Out to 2-0. Ueel Scholl trying to rein in Marek Medell on 23 goals, who's the leading goal scorer in the FQPL. Of course, Marek, with his move to Lions, can't add to his FQPL tally. And Scholl, goal number 21. 2 goals behind Marek Medell in the race for the inaugural FQPL Golden Boot. So the Tigers doing it comfortably 20 minutes in. Mitchelton really need to find that fighting spirit now. Eastern Suburbs dropped valuable points to their near rivals on the ladder in Peninsula Power. In a 6-1 defeat. No one really saw that scoreline coming. And a 4-2 defeat to Eastern Suburbs before that, going into those 2 games. Prior to those 2 losses, East on a 7-match unbeaten run. Lost those 2, got back to winning ways against Sunshine Coast Wanderers in the last round. Drager aims to throw in at the feet of his teammate. Ball delivered into the penalty spot. Farinas trying his best for the Tigers. Played back by Rezai for Loy. And now be built up from the back by Sonta. On the right for Jordan Loy. Searches out. Further afield. Nodded on by Beale. No teammates there waiting in anticipation. Coulson bangs it down the left-hand touchline. Oh, almost perfect delivery. In fact, it is a perfect delivery at the feet of Farina. Sonta once again with the save at the near post. Eastern Suburbs that time around unable to find a way past the Mitchelton custodian. We've got more live stream action around the leagues this weekend. I've got double duty this weekend as I head out to the NPL game tomorrow night from Lions Stadium. Join me from 5:30 for the match between Lions, and we see Mitchelton go around again tomorrow, this time in the women's. And the reason I'm doing the women's game tomorrow is because Darren Lutton has had a recent addition into his family, so congratulations to Darren and his family on the new arrival. Back heel and a miscued shot. Claims for a penalty. Not given as Bellorazzo went down. It'll be a corner instead here for the Tigers. Of course, all the matches tomorrow have been brought forward so everyone can enjoy that big opening round World Cup clash between Australia and France at 8 p.m. Brisbane time tomorrow. Yango. And another corner conceded by the Mustangs. And then on Sunday, it's a blockbuster from the NPL. It's always a great clash between these two sides. You can join Simon on 5 o'clock on Sunday afternoon for the NPL clash between Olympic and Moreton Bay. In comes that corner. Eastern Suburbs will get a second go at it. Yango. Barnett chiming in from the back line in towards the area. So Mitchelton bring it into their attacking half. Ball forward for Jafari. Can he get there in front of Leggett? He can't. Still in the attacking third though for Mitchelton. Trying to get their way out of that far corner. It's another throw in. Looking like a long throw in directed into the box. Into the area, trying to get a shot away was Yanakopoulos. Yango copped a bit of a shove and will go down. The referee will bring it back for the free kick. Sting just gone out of this game a little. The far side. I've just had a message through about some supporters. Get to that in a moment. Because that hardy Eastern Suburbs bunch are watching on. Too far for Coulson, yes. Glenn Brown, the Eastern Suburbs president, on the live stream in Kazakhstan, on the way to Russia. They're not there just yet. And as I said before, Danny Wright, the Eastern Suburbs coach, part of that travelling contingent. And those boys would be not only excited about getting to Russia to watch the Socceroos tomorrow, but also be pretty excited watching their team at the moment 2 goals to the good. And hopefully on their way to another valuable 3 points in that promotion race, because there's some important encounters this weekend that will factor into that. As we take a look around the other games in the FQPL being played out this weekend, and Peninsula Power and Rochedale Rovers, two old rivals, will go around once more, and Peninsula Power looking to extend that lead on top of the table as is a ball drifted in. Oh, and didn't go in. Farina looks in disbelief. Could have been a third. Corner taken quickly. Mitchelton weren't really awake to it. Cross drifted in by Coulson. Yango. And it's crossed the byline before anyone could get a play on it. Yeah, Peninsula Power and Rochedale Rovers. Rochedale Rovers in that pack, contending for the promotion spot, the second place on the table. Defeated by Logan Lightning in the last start. That gave the ascendancy to Logan Lightning in terms of ladder position. Logan Lightning themselves will take on Southside Eagles tomorrow. South United up against the Wide Bay Buccaneers. Can the Buccaneers finally break through for their first competition point in the FQPL? We see it build up again. Farina, edge of the box. Back heels for Coulson. Rezai gets to it first. Looks up, sees what options are ahead of him. One of them is Beale. Nods back, no teammate there. Fulton, the first goal scorer. Last touch off Beale. Capella Bar and Holland Park Hawks also going around tomorrow. And the final game from this round of the FQPL sees Wolves travel to Budrum to take on the Sunshine Coast Wanderers. Ipswich Knights have the bye. Here's Farina. I think I've got another text message coming in. We'll wait to see this attack and how it pans out for Eastern Suburbs. Square for Bellarezzo. Coulson. East have been able to get further and further forward. Another ball that hits the upright. Apparently the Carstatten beer is very good. Glad to hear that you boys are already enjoying your trip. Probably should check in on the stats because I'm sure that they will confirm what is actually happening out on the park and the ease that East are doing this with at the moment. Really, apart from those couple of opportunities, Mustafa Jafari had a chance that went on to the crossbar. But apart from a couple of opportunities for Mitchelton, it's been all Eastern Suburbs. Possession 57-43. The Tigers' way after the first half hour. And 11 shots at goal. 7 of them on target compared to just 4 at goal for Mitchelton. To turn a little bit cool in Brisbane. I think we're in single figures projected for the early morning. It wasn't too bad driving over, but Terrelwa Park's in a bit of a low spot, so it can be a couple of degrees cooler than other places in Brisbane. As Long will get involved. Good evening, Luke Murnane. What have you missed? You've missed 2 Eastern Suburbs goals. One to Scott Fulton in the 11th minute, and one to Uil Shoal in the 20th. And here's the first goal scorer again. Fulton into the feet of the Mitchelton player and Drager. Chased by Yango. Couldn't get to it just in time. So Eastern Suburbs with a 2-0 lead as we approach 10 minutes to the half-time break. And Mitchelton try and find something before the break, and just not working for them at the moment. Coulson. Pitch Mitchelton not in the best of condition, unfortunately. It's a bit bare, as you've probably seen, particularly through the centre circle. They might have the remedy to that in the coming years. News coming through in the last week or so that they've been successful in gaining funding to construct an artificial pitch. And I believe it will be the first one in Queensland that will be laid down on a main field. Of course, South United have their artificial pitch on the second field out there at Wakeley Park. UQFC have a pitch artificial that was being constructed in the last 18 months or so. Not their main pitch, shared with hockey too. Good win by Lucas. There's a Mitchelton player still down on the ground. It's Jafari, I think. He's got back to his feet, but he's hobbling. Barnett, back for his keeper in Long. It's been a long time since I've said that Long bangs at Long. Free the man there for the Tigers. The turn comes from Yanakopoulos of the Mustangs. It's looking a little bit more promising. Cut out before it gets to Beale by Barnett. The pressure placed on Leggett by Jafari. Fulton. Can he get the better of Drager? Drager got a toe in. He's still able to retain possession. And free kick against Shoal. Comes the free kick. Free up for Coulson. Beats one, tries to beat a second. Straight to the feet though, Drager. Coulson keeps the ball alive, couldn't beat the third. Barnett was racing in at a rate of knots and was successfully able to win the ball back for his side. Yanakopoulos. Eastern Suburbs have most of the answers so far. He's got a bit of pace when he needs it. Coulson calling for the ball on this left-hand side. It'll be left for Long. He's got a bit of space to move in if required, Coulson, but Long shaping up. Send this ball near the attacking third of the Eastern Suburbs attacking possession. Long sends this one away. Oh, is there a high foot? Yes. Against Bellarazzo on Drager. Foster will leave it for Jordan Loy. To his credit, Bellarazzo immediately stuck up his hand and went, yep, probably went the wrong mechanism to try and get possession back. Two number 18s go at it. Crucial foot from Foster, the Mitchie skipper. At the end, no real test for Long. Sending it down the right are the Tigers. Free kick will go Mitchelton's way this time round. So around 5 minutes to the half-time break. Mitchie really need a reply to try and get themselves back into this game before the half-time whistle is blown. That one will be too long. Barnett likes to keep it in rather than letting the ball go out for a throw-in. Competition between Scholl and Loy. Free man out on the right is Yango. Yango in towards the 6-yard box. Fulton arrives on the scene. The Tigers still in the area. Farina. He's got Coulson there. Instead comes in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Almost tapped away. Fulton and Scholl both waiting, the two goal scorers. Rezai down the line for Jafari. He's got Leggett to beat. And Jafari a bit frustrated that there was no one coming through to allow him to take the quick throw in for Mitchie to try and catch out the Eastern Suburbs defence. Yanakopoulos. Drager. Takes a touch. Used to be a striker in his days out at the Western Pride. Now at right back for Mitchelton. Man on was the call. They've been fortuitous there. Mitchelton. Might be a fraction too far for Beale, and Leggett will just shield it across the byline. Plenty of talk going on between Jordan Loy and Peter Drager about best possible options. Touchback for Tommy Tobin. He's Force Mitchelton into defensive error there momentarily. This is Loy. One's over hit for Drager. It allowed Fulton to easily intercept the ball. Miscue from Loy. Now just holds it up. Fulton. Couldn't get the 1-2 back from Scholl. Notice just slipped over there for a moment. It's a bit slippery out there this evening. No one's really lost their footing so far, but might become a little bit of a factor as this match wears on. Will they strike before the half-time break, the home side? Low drifted cross that goes across the face of goal. Beale at the near post. Looked like the ball just slid ahead of him. And then another rare Mitchelton opportunity. One of very few they've had goes begging. Would have been a psychological blow before the break. Contest between Foster and Farina, the two skippers of their respective sides. Farina takes a touch off the chest. Target is Yango. Comes for Scholl. Farina continuing on his run. Fulton. He's got the other Scott wider in Coulson. Coulson again after the pass from Fulton. The two Scots interchanging. So stoppage time beckons. Perhaps an opportunity for Eastern Suburbs to strike a third before the break. Flag went up, but referee will allow advantage to continue with Sonton, the ball in his hand. Good strong header from Satake brings an end to this first half at Terrelba Park in this FQPL round 17 clash. Eastern Suburbs through Scott Fulton and Will Scholl have scored the 2 goals for their side. Mitchelton with rare opportunities. It's really been the majority here for Eastern Suburbs at the break. It's Eastern Suburbs 2 leading Mitchelton 0. So the players retiring to their respective dressing rooms. We're going to take a break as well. Be with you for second half action. But for the time being, it's Eastern Suburbs leading Mitchelton 2-0.
Football is my favourite. I love playing it with my friends.
When I score a goal, I celebrate and dream of playing for the Caltex Suburbs.
And this is where it all starts, with the Aldi Mini Roos kick-off program. I grab my shin pads, boot bag, drink bottle and bowl, then join my mates for some fun.
It's great. We learn new skills every week through games and activities. These help us learn about teamwork and respect for others. My mum cheers me on the sidelines. She loves watching me play. She likes it that football is such a safe sport.
But best of all,
we make lots of new friends.
And if we are lucky, we might run into the Aldi Mini Roos ambassadors.
Wow, it's Archie Thompson, he's a legend.
And Steph Matlick from the Westfield Matildas, she is amazing. Come and join Australia's biggest football program for kids. Come and join us.
We swear a lot at Total Tools. We swear by our range. We swear by our service. And of course, we swear by our prices. So you'll know that you're buying at the best price every day. Total Tools. Every tool, every trade.
I could watch them all day. Even though here, you don't feel like you need to. These are the moments I'll remember. You see, to me, it's not so much just having us all together, but finding a place that really brings us together. That's what makes Oaks Oasis special. When you only get a few chances, it's important to make them count. After all, memories don't make themselves.
Just out here watching some Mini Roos train. I can't hear you! Hey guys, it's Andy here from Football Queensland. Just checking in with you on day 3 in the Tinny K Hill. I am scared for my life at the minute as we've got Kerry driving here. It's not looking good, but hopefully we're en route to Gladstone. So hopefully we'll see you all soon. This is the way to Gladstone. This is the way to all the Gladstone people. Good morning guys, it's Andy and Kerry in the Tinny Cahill here. Kerry, how's it all going so far?
Been thoroughly enjoyable so far.
Okay, right, Dingo challenge. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go!
Alright, so champion, what was your favourite part of tonight? Playing the soccer game, unbelievable. Did you have lots and lots of fun tonight? Brilliant stuff. And who will you be supporting in the World Cup? Who will you be supporting in the World Cup?
The Socceroos.
Oh, fantastic. Give me a high five, champion. Well done. Thank you. Good stuff. I like it. I can't hear you cheering on. I can't hear you. One! Fun.
We swear a lot at Total Tools. We swear by our range. We swear by our service. And of course, we swear by our prices. So you'll know that you're buying at the best price every day. Total Tools. Every tool, every trade.
And that's it. So, second half about to get underway. Eastern Suburbs obviously pretty content with the first half. Didn't need much of a team talk. They were around a good 5 minutes, maybe more, before the required time for the restart. Mitchelton needed a few more words of wisdom as we have a false start for the second half. Now we're underway officially, where Eastern Suburbs hold a 2-0 lead over Mitchelton in this FQPL Round 17 clash. So we welcome you back for the second half. Goals to Scott Fulton and Jewel Scholl. But as one of the Mitchelton supporters said to me on the way through during the break, could easily have been 4 or 5 for the Tigers. Hands went up for offside, but Scholl was well and truly onside. Oh, escaped Sonta. And the clearance comes away for Schultz of Mitchelton. Lorenzo. What can the Mustangs do? They need to score early in this second half, I should say, to try and get themselves back into this game, but it'll be an early corner for the Tigers. Another variation on the corner. Played square for Bellorazzo. Shapes up to go himself. Just tried to dink a pass through in the direction of Jewel Scholl. And Scholl falls foul of the assistant on this near side, Mohammed Alaport. Need the gloves tonight. My hands are starting to get rather cool. Small crowd on hand at Terrelba Park. Not as much action as we normally see here on a Friday night with the over 35s on adjacent fields. There was a game earlier on to our right, but that's now finished up. A few of the old boys watching on from the veranda on the clubhouse on the far side, enjoying a few beverages. Referee's whistle will blow. The Mitchelton player who's gone down near his own technical area. Free kick to the Mustangs. So should this scoreline remain, this will bring up Eastern Suburbs' 9th win of the season and take them to 28 competition points. On the live ladder at the moment, that puts them just 1 point behind second place Logan Lightning. Pushes them up a spot into third ahead of Rochdale. Mitchelton would remain on 23 points. Actually, that's not right. That would keep them on 20 points and start to see them lose touch of the top four. A loss here tonight would probably surely rule them out of the promotion race and almost leave that in a contest of 4. South probably also one still in there, but yeah, they could probably rule out any promotion hopes tonight with the loss Mitchelton and try and keep their season alive with a finals berth if they can try and find some late season form. Farina. Scholl, the lanky striker for Eastern Suburbs, gives it back to Farina. Fulton takes it himself. Took a deflection on the way through. Might have actually been Bellarizzo, actually. Yeah, it would have been, because that's Fulton there. Would have been Jaden Bellarizzo with the attempted shot on goal. Barnes tries to outrun Satake, the 2 former Brisbane City men, and Farina in an offside position. Geordie Farina, part of the championship winning Moreton Bay NPL side back in 2015 before making a move back to Heath Park. Scrappy in these early stages of this second period. And the free kick not taken from the right position, so it'll be taken again. Tobin looks to have got a bit further forward at times here early in this second half. Farina. Quick touch on from Yango. Couldn't win the ball back for his side toe, but as the Mustangs look to bring it out of their defensive territory. Down the line for Jafari. Good win by Satake. Both sides guilty of giving away cheek ball. Barnett. Touch on by Fulton. And they'll come all the way back for the keeper in Sonta, who is under some pressure. Farina, back for Tobin. Yango looping around is Tobin. At the feet now of Jafari. Razai. Can Drager reel that one in? No, he can't. Thank you for your kind comments, Jared Masters. Getting behind Eastern Suburbs tonight, along with Trev McKenzie, who's buckled in for some World Cup action later on tonight. Egypt and Uruguay, the first game coming up after Russia's comprehensive victory against Saudi Arabia early this morning, Australian time. 10 o'clock for Egypt, Uruguay. 1 a.m. for Morocco and Iran. And then, what a game that should be at 4 o'clock early tomorrow morning. Two neighbours, Portugal and Spain, go at it. World Cup fever well and truly hit not only Brisbane, but right around the world, obviously. And I'm going to be missing for the next 3 weekends as well, as I undertake some work commitments, and it'll take me to Europe, to Spain actually, and it'll be interesting to actually go to a footballing country, a pure footballing country, for the duration or some of the World Cup. See how the locals enjoy it, as well as being in a reasonably user-friendly time zone to watch those games. That'll be a busy period work-wise. Should be able to enjoy some of those matches. As we keep on reminding you, the Socceroos make their opening appearance tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Brisbane time. Toughest of their pool matches on paper. Starts off their 2018 World Cup campaign against France. Couldn't be brought in by Tobin. Here's Schultz. Sends it square. And they've deflected out for a corner here. Eastern Suburbs. Looking likely there for Mitchelton there at a time. Plenty of football clubs right around Queensland embracing that opening game of the Socceroos tomorrow, bringing forward kick-off times of their local games. I think you'd be hard-pressed not to find a football club tomorrow that hasn't got the game on a big screen or doing some sort of function. Variation on the corner, put in, and the goal scored. Jafari has the last touch of it. I think it was Barnes, yes it was, who got the ball in from Jafari in close range. Pulls one back here for Mitchelton, 12 minutes into the second half. Jafari, his second goal, so I should say his first goal for his new club in his third game here at the Mustangs. So that'll breathe some life into this game, as it looks like Mitchelton are readying a double change. Simon Beale, one of the players being replaced. On comes Jordan Dozzy in 9. And the other replacement, jogging out towards our camera position, is 12, Michael Morrow. So a double change. Simon Beale definitely one of the players replaced. I'll try and pick up the second one in just a moment, but after the goal scored, might be Peter Drager. Oh, and the third, immediately as soon as Mitchelton have scored, Ueel Scholl pulls it back out to a 2-goal advantage for Eastern Suburbs. A double on the night for him. He now goes to within 1 of Marek Medell in the Golden Boot race. 22 goals now for the season. And Eastern Suburbs, for the time being, have thwarted any comeback plans that Mitchelton had. It's back out to the 2-goal advantage we had 2 minutes ago. Guy Barnes yelling out the encouragement for his side. just appears to that goal that they conceded, the Tigers, and now that they've scored one of their own, just appears to have spurred them on a little. Perhaps guilty of a bit of complacency in that leading up to that Mitchelton goal. Now looks like they're switched back on and focused again. Turn was the call for Arena. Looking for a goal of his own to get on the tally. Tall Jordan Dozzy tries to tuck it in behind the defender. He's do well to recover. It wasn't Drager that was replaced. He's still out there. Tobin. Threaded through for Yango. Into the back post. Another opportunity potentially presented itself for the visitors. Samir Razai, who was replaced. That's the other substitution we were trying to track down. So Razai and Beale make way for Morrow and Dozzy for Mitchelton in a double change. Here's the aforementioned Michael Morrow. Went inside, then played the ball outside for Schultz. Barnes gets to it in front of Farina. Lucas. Sent along by Schultz, the left back for Mitchelton. Coming away with it is Leggett. Bit of tall timber out there for both sides this evening. Yango with a bit of space on this right-hand side so they can get the ball out here. Won by the Tigers. Farina shaped up. Now he'll take the shot. Farina tried to curl it into the top left corner. Successful in doing so. And Geordie Farina comes up with the fourth goal for his side this evening with a little bit of magic. Shaped it up perfectly. Knew he went where he wanted to aim it. And that's exactly where it ended up. Geordie Farina scores in the 64th minute for his 16th goal of the season. Currently running third in the FQPL Golden Boot behind Will Scholl, his teammate, and Marek Medell. And when we thought that Mitchelton might have got themselves back into the game with that goal in the 57th minute through Mustafa Jafari, two unanswered goals from Eastern Suburbs, has seen them now take a clear advantage once again. They're 3 to the good over their opponents, but giving away a free kick 20 minutes into this second half here at Tarelwa Park in the round 17 clash of the FQPL. If you have just joined us for the second half, Scott Fulton opened the scoring for Eastern Suburbs back in the 11th minute. Neil Scholl added to the Tigers' tally in the 20th. We went to the break with Eastern Suburbs leading 2-0, dominating the first half. But Mustafa Jafari on 57 gave Mitchelton some hope. But a second to Uil Scholl and the latest to Geordie Farina has put Eastern Suburbs well back in control. And here is Scholl looking for a hat-trick now. Cleared away at the last minute by Barnes. He can score another. Uil Scholl, he'll go to equal top of the Golden Boot standings with Marek Medell, formerly of Holland Park, now at Lions. Missed out on their comprehensive victory in the FFA Cup last week against Peninsula Power. Lions going back to the national stages of the FFA Cup for the first time since 2015, where they put up a credible performance against Perth Glory. Yango trying to get on the action. Congratulations to the 4 Queensland representatives in the FFA Cup. What an interesting weekend it was. I think many would have thought Lions and Peninsula was a 50-50 game going into it. But Lions absolutely dominated Peninsula Power, the league leaders in the FQPL. It'll be interesting to see whether that has any impact on their FQPL campaign. That was the first game on Saturday. Then the crazy game that Cairns FC had up in the far north. We're thinking at the half-time break that Magpies Crusaders were cruising for an inaugural appearance in the FFA Cup in their first season as a club. 3-0 up at half-time before Cairns scored 5 second-half goals. 5th consecutive year that far north representative goes through the national stages of the FFA Cup. Scholl and Yango. And he got that all wrong, Abe Yango, despite his best efforts. And then Sunday, Olympic looked like they were going through to the round of 32 in normal time. No, said Brisbane City, scoring that late equaliser in stoppage time to send the match into extra time. No extra goals in the additional 30 minutes, and Olympic eventually prevailing in the penalty shootout. Touch back and sent high over the crossbar. And Sunshine Coast Fire on the Sunday also had a fight up against Gold Coast Knights. Goals once again in stoppage time before Gold Coast Knights prevailed in extra time. So congratulations to Lions, Cairns FC, Olympic and the Gold Coast Premier League's Gold Coast Knights, who along with the Brisbane Roar will be the Queensland representatives in this year's version of the FFA Cup. Draw coming in around about a week's and a half's time prior to that Socceroos game against Peru. We'll know the fate, the first step of those Queensland sides in the national stages of the FFA Cup. Just a reminder that, well, we're out to the scene of the crime tomorrow. Join me for NPLW action. We return to Lions Stadium, this time for women's action. Get another glimpse at Mitchelton tomorrow as well in the women's, as they make the trek over to Richlands to take on Lions FC. Join me from 5:30 for that one tomorrow afternoon. Perfect to watch that game on the Football Queensland live stream before settling in for the night in the Socceroos game against France. And then Simon Smiles with you on Sunday afternoon from Goodwin Park. It's always a belt up between Olympic and Moreton Bay, and I'm sure Sunday's game will be no exception. 5 p.m. on Sunday with Simon for that one in the NPL. Farina sticks the hand up. Save comes from Sonta, clipped off the heels of the defender. Satake. Yango squeezed by two defenders. Now it's Tobin. Goes himself. Nodded on. And Ueel Scholl now has a hat trick. And he goes joint with Marek Medell on top of the Golden Boot standings in the FQPL. 20 goals coming into tonight, plus the 3, goes to 23. And more importantly for his side, Eastern Suburbs now have a 5-1 lead over Mitchelton. So any chance of a Mitchelton fight back has been snuffed out. Just catching up on the Facebook comments. Dennis Derin, one of those Eastern Suburbs group, watching on their way to Russia, and big smiles on the Eastern Suburbs contingent. Watching on the live stream this evening. And you're right, Patrick Carney, those two can't stop scoring, particularly Ueel Scholl now with a hat-trick this evening. It's a perfectly delivered cross by Tom Tobin. It was delightful. Ueel Scholl made no mistake for his third goal of the evening. Morrow. Goal for Mitchelton at least would put some confidence back in the camp. Just going to look up there. Both these sides next league match. First of all, just do a quick check on the stats, and it's 55-45 possession Eastern Suburbs way. They've had 17 shots at goal. 12 of those on target. Here's Scholl again. Sonta out of his area, backtracking quickly because he knows that if someone like Farina can get his foot to the ball, he'll chance his arm from that distance. 5 shots for Mitchelton. Again in the box. Here's Yango's turn. The net ripples, but it's side netting. Yango unable to come up with his 4th goal for the season. Change being readied for Eastern Suburbs. I think it will be Yango. Abe Yango that will be replaced. Might be a double change. In fact, Malareto makes his way to the sideline as well. So the first of those substitutes for Eastern Suburbs. Yango in no rush to get to the sideline. It's Matt Richardson in jersey 8. That's the first of the replacement. He replaces Jaden Bellarezzo, and replacing Abe Yango It's Kei Takamoto, I should say. Takamoto in jersey 22. So it looks like Eastern Suburbs with back-to-back wins after back-to-back losses. They have the bye next weekend, Eastern Suburbs. Not sure whether that's a good or a bad thing in terms of momentum. Might just allow a few more knocks to be settled out. Had the week off last week as well, so it's a bit stop-start for Eastern Suburbs. Mitchelton are off to Carmichael Park next week to take on Wolves in. It's shaping up as, for both sides, a must-win in terms of staying in contact with a top 4 position. When East do have the bye, the next opponent after that will be Wolves, coincidentally. So both these sides to play Wolves over the next couple of weeks. Here's Farina. Farina on for the substitute, Takamoto. Hands go on heads all the way around the park on the Eastern Suburbs players. There's smiles. Couldn't bring up the half dozen Takamoto. There's scratching of heads. Comical disbelief. I think Takamoto has a smile on his face as well. Disbelief in the Eastern Suburbs camp that they couldn't add a 6 at that period. Dozzy couldn't keep it in. Just a reminder of the FQPL matches this weekend. That big clash tomorrow between Peninsula and Rosedale down at AJ Kelly. Logan at home to Southside Eagles. South take on the Wide Bay Buccaneers. Capella up against the Holland Park Hawks, who we saw in the live stream just before Easter. Capella recorded that big win at the Whites Hill Reserve. For some reason over the past couple of years, it's been big scoring games between Capella Bar and Holland Park. So maybe we'll see plenty of goals again down at Jordan Fredericks. How will Holland Park do with their new coach, Joe Fennick, in charge? As well as the absence of Marek Medell. And the other game to round out this round of the FQPL, where Wolves will travel to the Sunshine Coast. Wanderers and Ipswich Knights have the bye. Takamoto too strong. Might have been able to pick up that from referee Brad Burton. Why the free kick was given. Tobin, short option for Leggett. Scholl. Hat-trick man for Eastern Suburbs tonight, and possibly still more in him and more in his side. Not going to let the foot off as Eastern Suburbs make their third and final change for the evening. I heard the name Scott Coulson, but I think he's just been asked for a change in position. And Mitchelton making a change as well. They are. So it might be Pete Drager who's replaced for Mitchelton. Might have got it right this time. Just Struggled to pick up both substitutes as they came onto the park, but we'll fix that in a moment because I've got one of them, and that's Matt Can for Mitchelton. He's come on. And it'll be that Luke Fisher or Tom Sparksman for Eastern Suburbs. Here's Takamoto looking for contact. Satake. Takamoto sizes up his opponent in Schultz. Tobin, Satake couldn't link up with Takamoto, but good enough to win the ball back. Leggett, switch your play onto the left. Finds Barnett. Morris got a bit of space to operate in, although Takamoto is arriving quickly. Confirmation it was Peter Drager replaced for Mitchelton. Now it falls in the path of the substitutes. In fact, it was Coulson who's moved forward. Farina in company with him. So I think it's Scott Fulton who's been replaced. And that's pushed Scott Coulson further up the park. And yes, it's Luke Fisher who is come on. So we've got all that tidied up now. That's changed the formation, or the players in at least the positions at the back for Eastern Suburbs. Barnett moves from fullback out onto the left, and then Coulson pushes more forward up into the left wing position for these remaining 7.5 minutes at Terrelwa Park. Evening, Philip. You've made a late appearance on the scene, obviously. Not a fan of the white strip for Eastern Suburbs? It is a little bit different. Normally used to that striking orange or black for the Tigers. White strip's actually held up well. It doesn't look like whoever's going to wash the kit will have too many issues despite this slightly soggy field. Tigers here at the edge of the box with a dead ball opportunity. So this game playing out to its natural conclusion. Eastern Suburbs will move into third position. Rochedale will have the opportunity to move back into that position again in the game against Peninsula Powers. The free kick is driven in. And a corner will be the result. Here comes that corner, and not it over the target from Barnett, it looked like. As the steam well and truly comes out of my mouth with every word in the cool conditions down by the Kedron Brook. Reminder to join me tomorrow for NPLW action. Lions up against Mitchelton from 5:30 on the Football Queensland live stream on Facebook and YouTube. Straight into the path of Scholl. Unselfishly gives it away to Farina. And some of the eastern suburbs. You see a few ducks flying over Terrelwood Park, it looked like. Squeaking out an unusual noise. The overhead. It was more an attempted cross than a shot directly on target. Wide of the upright. So 3+ stoppages to play out here at Terrelwood Park in this round 17 FQPL clash. Farina. He's got either Scholl or Takamoto. Goes to ground, regains his feet. Richardson. Tobin. Oh, gives it away to Dozzy. Can playing it on. The former Olympic player played mainly in the under-20s. Over at the Yoronga Base Club. A number of Olympic players have found their way to Mitchelton in recent years, including Mustafa Jafari, Kosi Yanakopoulos. Meanwhile, this is Takamoto. And Morrow Dean to have infringed. We haven't seen a yellow card tonight. Referee Brad Burton's been able to keep them in his pockets. Hasn't been anything like that in this game. It's been pretty mild-mannered. Farina made the run for Tobin to play the ball to him. Squeezes between Dozzy and Can. And an uncustomary mistake tonight from Eastern Suburbs gives Mitchelton a cheap opportunity in their attacking third. No rush to play it though, with 60 seconds plus stoppages remaining. The scoreboard here was showing 6-1 to East. It's now changed back to 5-1. Had to momentarily second guess myself. Goal kick here for Eastern Suburbs. Referee Brad Burton elects not to play any stoppage time. And in this round 17 FQPL clash, let's summarise how it all played out over the 90 minutes. Well, the scoring was opened by Scott Fulton on the 11th minute. Yoel Scholl scored then on the 20th minute for Eastern Suburbs. That took the Tigers into half-time with a 2-goal lead. It was Mustafa Jafari who pulled a goal back for Mitchelton on 57 minutes. Looked like that might spark a Mitchie comeback, but shortly after then, there were successive goals for Eastern Suburbs that came from Jordan Farina in the 62nd minute. And Yoel Scholl scored 2 goals in the second half, I should say. He scored in the 59th, Jordan Farina in the 62nd, and then Yoel Scholl again in the 71st minute. A hat-trick for Yoel Scholl, 23 goals now for the season to send him equal top of the Golden Boot. But at the end of the day, Eastern Suburbs have collected a valuable 3 points in terms of their promotion aspirations to the 2019 NPL in a comprehensive 5-1 victory over Eastern Suburbs. Join me tomorrow for the NPLW action between Lions and Mitchelton on the Football Queensland Facebook and YouTube channels. On the live stream tomorrow afternoon from 5:30, but from Terrelba Park, it's good evening, where Eastern Suburbs, the Tigers, defeat the Mustangs 5-1. Good night, and thanks on behalf of all the team.